We, the National Football League, believe Black Lives Matter.
Let's talk about Roger Goodell, shall we?
We believe everyone should stand for the national anthem.
A man who turns his back on players.
Lawsuit claiming the NFL uses race as a factor in determining which former players are compensated for suffering head injuries.
It's also important for us to honor our flag and to our country.
And caters to the supremacy of white NFL owners.
We respect our players.
Billionaires who serve as his boss and he as their puppet. And he protects them, like Washington football team chairman Dan Snyder.
They have reached a settlement with a former team employee who accused owner Dan Snyder of sexual misconduct in 2009, according to multiple reports. The New York Times is reporting that Snyder paid the settlement to avoid negative publicity. And both the Post and the Times report that the woman was fired after making the allegation.
This is not just toxic nor a one-off. This is who Snyder is and the culture he has built within his team. It is shameful. But guess who's going to bat for Snyder?
Has Dan Snyder been held accountable adequately in your opinion, and is there more to be done there?
I do think he's been held accountable for. I think the organization has been held accountable.
That would be good old Raj. He fined Snyder and the team $10 million, demanding Snyder step away. Doing so is akin to Donald Trump saying, now that he's president, all of his business handlings will be handled by his sons. It's as empty a promise as the manila folders. Thing is, Snyder's been with the team. He's been going to games. It was fugazi from the jump. Let's go back for a moment, though. John Gruden was fired over racist, misogynistic, and homophobic emails that were part of 650,000. Raja Krishnamurthy, congressman from Illinois who serves as chair on the House Oversight Committee, signed a letter along with Carolyn B. Maloney demanding the league turn over the evidence and findings. Their deadline is November 4th. The investigation into sexual harassment claims and a toxic workplace environment in the Washington football team is completed, but the NFL, who oversaw it, is limiting nearly all intel coming out. Unlike Bountygate and Deflategate, there has been no written report of the findings from independent investigator Beth Wilkinson on harassment and cultural issues inside the team. Under Snyder, only a series of oral reports. PFT's Mike Florio thinks the NFL is hiding something very big by refusing to release the WFT investigation findings and emails. If anything, I'm more convinced they're trying to bury a major bombshell. DeMaurice Smith, NFLPA executive director, said, what I'm interested in is there correspondence that suggests teams are making decisions about coaches based on the color of their skin? Are they actively hostile to players that have chosen to self-identify in various ways? Are they denigrating people based on sexual preference or religious identity? Bruce Allen, ex-WFT executive, communicated with Gruden constantly. The emails show how divisive they were. We have the Rooney Rule, so I'm going to propose a Lincoln Rule at the next meeting, Allen wrote to NFL General Counsel Jeff Pash, who's also an advisor to Goodell. Pash communicated extensively in emails to Allen as well, after the latter sent a song to attract Latino fans, quote, I am not sure this will be as popular after the wall gets built. That comment was, one can assume, in reference to Trump's quest to build a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. Pash was found to broker deals in the email leaks and told Allen not to worry about the upcoming investigation, which includes the cheerleading scandal. Which brings us back to the NFL owners' meetings in New York, where Melanie Coburn and Anna Nunez, two former employees of the team, delivered a letter personally to the league's 33 owners demanding accountability and transparency from the NFL about its investigation into Washington's hostile workplace culture that Nunez said they covered up. There are a lot of employees who are still scared and intimidated and threatened to come forward, said former WFT marketer and cheerleader Coburn. One reporter asked Melanie Coburn how responsible Snyder was with workplace culture. 100%. He allowed this to happen in his organization. He encouraged it, adding, he's mastered the art of the NDA. The reason they're keeping these emails private, I have a few thoughts. First, Gruden said Eric Reid should be fired for protesting during the anthem. If you recall, they settled the Cap Reid case before discovery. What it says to me, they do not want these collusion emails seeing the light of day. There's no doubt Gruden's email was not singular. Second, the list of connections runs deep. Gruden was communicating with CEOs, business execs, and many who have influence inside and outside the NFL. Recall, just the McVay-Gruden connection alone, quite lengthy. And that's just 3 head coaches. Yahoo Sports has a write-up of the extensive history. Check it out if you have a second. The NFL is hiding this because it just runs way too deep. Third, the conflict of interest between Pash and Allen is commonplace and likely the tip of the iceberg. The emails would show them in droves. I mean, Jeff Miller, the league's executive vice president of communications, even said these avenues of communication occur on a daily basis. Fourth, race norming. Fifth, lack of diversity in coaching hires. Pash and Allen even went after the Rooney Rule. I'm sorry, you think that's a one-off? There's so many different angles to this. They have tried distracting the public with Gruden's emails and Allen, who is currently in a lawsuit against Snyder, and the odd timing of the Sean Taylor ceremony at their home stadium. It just hasn't worked. The issue is the NFL took over the investigation, limiting what we know.
I'm a big believer in dialogue.
Goodell's lame out for justifying the ongoing secrecy of the WFT investigation was claiming that some employees who cooperated with the investigation requested anonymity. Meanwhile, the NFL has said that 650,000 emails they refused to release fell outside the scope of that investigation. Lisa Banks, an attorney, wrote, "My clients did not ask the NFL for protection when they participated in the investigation. They asked for transparency and accountability and received neither." Reacting to Goodell's statement that the league will not release the findings because some who came forward asked for anonymity, Banks added, "I represent 40 former employees of the WFT who participated in the investigation. Goodell's statement is false." Indeed, if the factual findings made by Wilkinson had come to light, Snyder quite possibly would have had to sell the team. That's why they refused to release the information. That's why they're hiding behind the righteous notion that they're protecting current or former employees of the team. That's why they'll surely resist any and all efforts by Congress to get to the truth.